You have been programmed to fail with women. While you chase validation like a starving dog, other men effortlessly command the attention and desire of the women you fantasize about but never touch. Friedrich Nietzsche discovered the brutal truth that modern society desperately wants to hide from you because weak men are easier to control and exploit for profit. The will to power is not about manipulation or tricks. It is about becoming so dangerously complete within yourself that women cannot ignore your presence, even when they try to resist your magnetic energy. What if I told you that everything you believe about attraction has been designed to keep you lonely, frustrated, and begging for scraps of female attention while other men feast on abundance and choice? The will to power is not about dominating others. It's about mastering yourself so completely that your energy becomes magnetic and undeniable. Most men mistake aggression for strength, but Nietzsche understood that true power flows from internal mastery and self-directed growth. When you stop trying to impress women and start focusing on becoming the best version of yourself, something shifts in your presence. You begin to radiate the kind of confidence that comes from knowing your worth is not dependent on external validation. This is the foundation of personal magnetism that draws people toward you without effort. Women are naturally attracted to men who display signs of the will to power because it signals genetic fitness and leadership potential. A man who is constantly improving himself, pursuing his goals with relentless focus, and refusing to settle for mediocrity becomes irresistible. This is not about bragging or showing off. It is about the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are on your path. When you embody the will to power, you become a man who creates rather than consumes, who leads rather than follows. Your very presence suggests that you have something valuable to offer because you have invested in developing yourself. The difference between neediness and magnetism lies in the direction of your energy flow. Needy men direct their energy outward, constantly seeking validation and approval from others, especially women. Men who embody the will to power direct their energy inward first, using it to build themselves into something worth being attracted to. When you master this principle, women begin to sense that you are not just another man trying to get something from them. Instead, you become someone who has cultivated his own power and might choose to share it with the right person. Society teaches men to be good boys who follow dating rules created by people who never succeeded in love themselves. Nietzsche saw that conventional morality often keeps us weak and prevents us from accessing our authentic power. In dating, this means you have been programmed to believe that being predictable, overly polite, and self-sacrificing will make women want you. These so-called virtues actually repel the women you desire most because they signal weakness and lack of personal standards. Breaking free from these limiting beliefs is essential for developing genuine attraction. Most dating advice tells you to be nice, buy flowers, and always agree with her opinions to avoid conflict at all costs. Nietzsche would laugh at this slave mentality that prioritizes harmony over authenticity and truth over personal strength. Women respect men who have their own opinions, set boundaries, and are not afraid to challenge them intellectually or emotionally. This does not mean being rude or disrespectful. It means being real instead of fake. When you transcend good and evil thinking, you become unpredictable and interesting instead of boring and safe. The most attractive men operate beyond conventional dating morality because they create their own rules based on their values and standards. They are not trying to be good or bad. They are trying to be authentic and powerful in their interactions. This kind of man does not seek approval because he has already approved of himself through his actions and choices. Women find this incredibly attractive because it shows strength, independence, and the confidence to forge your own path. Stop following society's dating commandments and start creating your own moral framework based on what actually works. The Ubermensch represents the man who has transcended ordinary limitations and created himself according to his own vision. In relationships, this means you stop being just another average guy hoping to get lucky with women. You become someone who has deliberately crafted his identity, values, and life direction through conscious effort and self-discipline. Women are drawn to men who embody this higher version of humanity because they represent growth, adventure, and possibility. This is not about perfection. It is about the commitment to constant self-overcoming. Most men live reactive lives, responding to whatever happens to them instead of actively creating their reality. The Ubermensch mindset flips this completely. You become the author of your own story instead of a character in someone else's. This means taking responsibility for your physical health, mental development, career success, and personal relationships without making excuses. When women encounter a man who is actively becoming something greater, they want to be part of that journey. Your commitment to self-improvement becomes magnetic because it suggests an exciting future together. The Ubermensch does not need women to complete him because he is already complete within himself through his dedication to growth. This paradox makes him incredibly attractive. He wants companionship but does not need it for validation or happiness. Women sense this emotional independence and find it irresistible because it means they can be themselves without pressure. You become someone worth choosing instead of someone who desperately needs to be chosen. This shift in energy transforms everything about how women respond to your presence and attention. Amor Fati means loving your fate, embracing everything that has happened to you as necessary for becoming who you are today. This includes your rejections, failures, heartbreaks, and disappointments with women, because they taught you valuable lessons about strength. When you genuinely accept and love your entire life story, you develop unshakable confidence that cannot be destroyed by external circumstances. Women can sense this deep self-acceptance and find it incredibly attractive because it signals emotional maturity and inner stability. You become a man who cannot be broken by setbacks or failures. Most men carry shame about their past relationships, rejections, or mistakes, which creates insecurity that women immediately detect and avoid. Practicing Amor Fati transforms these painful experiences into sources of strength and wisdom that actually make you more attractive. You stop trying to hide your flaws or pretend to be perfect because you understand that your struggles shaped you into someone valuable. This authentic confidence is magnetic because it shows you have faced adversity and emerged stronger rather than bitter. Women want men who can handle life's challenges without falling apart. When you truly love your fate, you stop being afraid of rejection because you know that every experience serves your growth and development. This fearlessness allows you to approach women with genuine confidence instead of desperate neediness or fake bravado that fools nobody. You become outcome independent because you trust that whatever happens is exactly what should happen for your journey. Women are drawn to this energy because it feels safe and exciting simultaneously. You are strong enough to handle anything. Embrace your entire story and watch how it transforms your presence with women. Nietzsche taught that we must examine and recreate our values instead of blindly accepting what society tells us is important or desirable. In dating, this means questioning everything you have been taught about what makes a good partner or relationship. Most men chase women based on superficial criteria like looks alone, or they try to become what they think women want instead of what they actually want. Creating your own value system means deciding what qualities actually matter to you in a partner and what kind of man you want to become. This clarity makes you incredibly attractive because you know exactly what you stand for. Society programs men to value female approval above their own self-respect, which creates weak behavior that repels quality women completely. Revaluating your values means putting your own standards, goals, and integrity first, instead of sacrificing them for temporary validation. This does not mean being selfish or inconsiderate. It means being selective about who deserves your time and energy. Women respect men who have clear standards because it shows they value themselves enough to maintain boundaries. You become someone worth earning instead of someone who gives himself away freely. When you create your own values around relationships, you stop competing with other men for female attention and start attracting women who align with your vision. You become the prize instead of trying to win the prize because you have something rare and valuable to offer. This shift in perspective transforms your entire dating life because you approach women from a position of strength rather than weakness. Women can sense when a man has his own moral compass and finds it incredibly attractive because it suggests leadership and reliability. Stop following society's relationship rules and start creating your own based on what actually serves your highest good. Nietzsche distinguished between master morality, which creates values based on strength and excellence, and slave morality, which reacts to others from weakness and resentment. In relationships, most men operate from slave morality by seeking approval, avoiding conflict, and trying to please women at their own expense. Master morality means you create your own standards for how you want to be treated and what you will accept in relationships. You lead interactions instead of following her emotional ups and downs like a lost puppy seeking direction. Women are naturally drawn to men who embody master morality because it signals confidence and leadership potential. Slave morality in dating looks like constantly apologizing, asking permission for everything, and changing yourself to fit what you think she wants. This behavior actually creates contempt rather than attraction because it shows you do not value yourself enough to maintain your own identity. Master morality means you remain true to your values while being respectful and considerate of others. Without sacrificing your authenticity, you set the tone for interactions instead of reacting to whatever energy she brings to the conversation. This kind of leadership is incredibly attractive because it makes women feel safe and protected in your presence. The man with master morality does not need to put others down to feel strong. His strength comes from within through his achievements and character development. He can appreciate and celebrate others without losing his own sense of worth or direction in life. Women recognize this genuine confidence immediately and find it irresistible because it means you can handle their emotions without being overwhelmed or controlled. You become someone who adds value to their life instead of someone who drains their energy through neediness. Develop master morality by focusing on your own excellence instead of comparing yourself to others or seeking validation. When Nietzsche declared that God is dead, he meant that traditional sources of meaning and authority no longer provide reliable guidance for modern life. In relationships, this means you cannot depend on outdated social scripts, your parents' advice, or cultural traditions to tell you how to attract women. You must become your own source of values, confidence, and direction instead of looking for external authorities to validate your choices. This self-reliance is incredibly attractive to women because it shows you are a leader who can think independently. You become a man who creates his own path instead of following the crowd. Most men seek validation from women, friends, family, or society to feel good about themselves, which creates a desperate energy that repels quality partners. True self-reliance means building your confidence through your own achievements, standards, and personal development rather than external approval. You stop needing others to tell you that you are worthy of love because you have proven it to yourself through action. This inner strength is magnetic because women can sense that you will not become needy or clingy in relationships. You become someone who chooses to be with them, rather than someone who needs them to feel complete. Self-reliant men take responsibility for their own happiness, success, and emotional state, instead of expecting women to fix or complete them. This maturity is incredibly attractive because it means you bring value to relationships instead of taking from them constantly. You become a source of strength and stability that women want to be around because you enhance their life experience. When you stop looking for external salvation and start creating your own meaning, you develop an unshakable confidence that cannot be threatened. Women are drawn to men who have found their own way in life because it suggests adventure and growth. Nietzsche's concept of eternal recurrence asks you to live as if you had to repeat every moment of your life infinitely. This means being authentic in every interaction with women, instead of pretending to be someone you are not for temporary validation. When you approach dating with this mindset, you stop playing games or using fake personas because you would not want to repeat dishonest behavior forever. Women can sense authenticity immediately and find it incredibly attractive because most men they meet are performing rather than being real. You become refreshingly genuine in a world full of pretenders and manipulators. Most men create false versions of themselves when talking to attractive women, trying to say what they think she wants to hear. This strategy always fails because women have excellent intuition for detecting fake behavior and will lose interest quickly when they sense deception. Living by eternal recurrence means you present your true self from the beginning, which attracts women who actually like who you are. This creates much stronger connections because they are based on reality rather than illusions that will eventually crumble. You become someone worth knowing instead of someone worth avoiding after the mask falls off. Authenticity requires courage because it means accepting possible rejection from women who do not appreciate your genuine personality and values. However, this screening process actually works in your favor by attracting women who are truly compatible with your real self. When you live as if every moment matters eternally, you stop wasting time on connections that require you to be fake or compromise your integrity. Women respect men who have the courage to be themselves because it shows strength and self-acceptance that most people lack. Choose authenticity over approval and watch how it transforms the quality of your relationships with women. Nietzsche believed that most people never discover their true potential because they spend their lives trying to become what others expect them to be. In relationships, this means you have probably been trying to become the man you think women want, instead of becoming who you actually are deep down. The journey of self-discovery requires you to strip away all the false identities, expectations, and roles that society has imposed on your authentic self. Women are attracted to men who are on this path of becoming because it shows courage, depth, and the willingness to grow. You become fascinating instead of predictable when you are actively discovering and expressing your true nature. Most men present a manufactured version of themselves that they believe will be more acceptable to women they want to attract. This strategy backfires because it creates relationships built on false foundations that cannot sustain genuine intimacy or connection over time. Becoming who you are means having the courage to show your real interests, opinions, flaws, and dreams without apology or shame. Women find this vulnerability incredibly attractive because it invites them to be authentic too, instead of playing social games. You create space for real connection when you stop hiding behind masks and personas designed to impress others. The process of becoming requires you to constantly question your motivations, beliefs, and behaviors to determine what truly belongs to you versus what you adopted to fit in. This self-awareness is magnetic because it shows emotional intelligence and the commitment to personal growth that most people avoid completely. Women want partners who are actively evolving because it means the relationship will never become stagnant or boring over time. You become someone who brings excitement and possibility to their life because you are always discovering new aspects of yourself. Stop trying to be what you think she wants and start becoming who you actually are, underneath all the conditioning. Nietzsche warned that when you gaze into the abyss gazes back into you, meaning that confronting your darkness can be dangerous without proper strength. In relationships, this means you must face your insecurities, fears, and toxic patterns with women instead of running from them or pretending they do not exist. Most men avoid examining their neediness, jealousy, or emotional wounds because it feels uncomfortable and threatens their self-image as strong leaders. However, integrating your shadow makes you incredibly attractive because it creates genuine confidence rather than fragile ego that breaks under pressure. Women can sense when a man has done his inner work and find it irresistible. Your shadow contains all the parts of yourself that you have rejected or hidden from others, including your fears of rejection, abandonment, or inadequacy with women. These unconscious patterns will sabotage your relationships until you acknowledge them and transform them into sources of strength and wisdom. Facing your abyss means admitting your mistakes, learning from your failures, and taking responsibility for your role in past relationship problems. This level of self-awareness is rare and attractive because most people blame others instead of examining their own contribution to relationship dynamics. You become emotionally mature when you can own your darkness without being controlled by it. The man who has gazed into his abyss and emerged stronger becomes incredibly magnetic because he has nothing left to hide or fear. He can handle any situation with women because he has already faced his worst fears and survived the experience intact. This creates an unshakable confidence that women find irresistible because it suggests emotional safety and stability in relationships. You stop projecting your insecurities onto women and start relating to them from a place of wholeness rather than neediness. Embrace your shadow work and transform your darkness into the foundation of your greatest strength with women. Becoming truly irresistible to women has nothing to do with manipulation, tricks, or changing yourself to please others. It requires the courage to embark on the most challenging journey possible, which is becoming who you actually are beneath all the conditioning and expectations. Nietzsche's philosophy offers a roadmap for this transformation, but the work can only be done by you through consistent action, honest self-examination, and the relentless pursuit of your highest potential. As a man, the will to power, the Ubermensch mindset, and the integration of your shadow are not just concepts to understand intellectually. They are practices that must be lived daily if you want to experience their transformative effects on your relationships with women. Most men will watch this video, feel inspired for a few days, then return to their old patterns of neediness and mediocrity because real change requires sustained effort and uncomfortable growth. Are you willing to do what most men will not do to become the kind of man that women cannot ignore? Or will you remain another forgettable face in the crowd who complains about his dating life instead of transforming it? If this video has awakened something inside you, hit that subscribe button and join the community of men who are committed to becoming their most powerful selves.